Hello class, this is a quick video to clear up some questions that you might have on assignment 8 and 9. So assignment 8 is really to show you this drafting method. If you look it up online and you look for miter drafting method, you'll see that if you have these three different views, they should line up, and if you bring the top view over, wherever you stop that line that's at the bottom edge of the top view is where you could start the side view. And so for example, this one here, you come over from the bottom of the top view and you pick a spot where you want the side view to start. You draw a 45-degree line, and then any lines that come from the top or the side will hit that 45-degree line and then help you to create the other view. So here's the orthographic projection of the top and the bottom of these circles, and that's what our project is. When you go back and look at the drawing, we have here some circles, and I only included the outside lines to give you an idea of how to project those lines. If you turn your quadrant object snap on at the bottom right corner, you'll be able to draw a line from the top of this circle. Well, right now it's kind of fighting for the other object snaps, but because there's a intersection there, you might actually get the intersection object snap. But here, right here on these bigger circles, there's the quadrant. You can create a layer called hidden, make it current as we did in the other assignments, and then if you start from the top of this circle and come across, you see how that's really what those hidden lines are. So the hidden lines in the top and the side view represent the circles, the holes that are going through this part. So all three of these views are the same object, and like I said, the hidden lines represent the holes. Even these smaller lines here, like this one, will line up with the edge of the small circle up here at the top. So you can use tracking if you'd like, especially for the side circles. So if you have the hidden line layer, hidden layer current, which I did by dropping this list down, and I think you can go back to how to create the lines. You can then just rest your pointer on the top of this circle and drag your mouse across. See those tracking vectors? You don't click. You pull your mouse across until you get here, then you click. That's tracking. Now up here you need to go across maybe and track, and then draw a line down and trim it until we look at some of the more advanced tools. Okay, so that's that. And then the dimension style scale factor is not changed for this one, but that would be if we type in D and enter and pick the modify button and go to the fit tab. We're using the overall scale of 1. The thing that changes on this one is the LT scale, or the line type scale. So when you first draw this hidden line, if you type in LT scale, see in my command line there, it's 0.5. If it was 1, you see how the hidden lines are kind of wider? It's really a personal preference at some point, but we use the line type scale here. You type in LT scale of 0.5, and what that does is it makes the line type hidden lines and the center lines, any of them, you see how they all kind of went to a smaller dash. And some companies set standards, but as long as it looks good, that's great too. So that's actually assignment 8. The three sides views, the top, the front, the side, all are one object, and the hidden lines represent the circle that's behind it or hidden. Okay, so then the other one is this one, which is really metric. That's why the bigger numbers. And so when you draw the shape, you could draw as a choice. You could draw one whole side and then mirror it over. Or you can just draw a box. Draw a box that's 120, because it'll be 260s, right? 120 by 60. And then you draw your 3 big circles right here, which are a radius of 30 at the corner. There's one at the corner here. There's one at the corner here. And then there's this one, which would be at the midpoint, right? So you have to turn on your midpoint object snap right here. And then when you draw the circle radius of 30, you click here at the midpoint and draw it. And then you can use the trim command to trim out the part of the circle that you don't need. Now, these 4 other circles are going to be based on, or could be based on offsets, could be based on tracking. So you can offset these lines 15 from the left here and from the bottom to get this kind of intersection. Hopefully you've kind of picked that up from other assignments. But you know, the interesting thing is that you can also use tracking. If it doesn't matter what type of line I use. Here I could use even layer 0 because I'm going to erase it. I'm going to start the line command. I can just rest my pointer there at the bottom left corner, not clicking, pull my mouse to the right a little bit, type in 15 and enter, and it kind of like pulls you and tracks you over 15. Then you pull your mouse up and type in 15 and enter, and then enter again, and you've got a little line there that's 15 over and 15 up that you can use as a choice to draw your smaller circles diameter of 18. So you can use offset or you can use tracking. You end up with this little line here that you probably want to delete out. The other thing is that this one does have a dimension scale that's bigger because it's metric, right? It's 25.4. So you type in D and enter, you pick the modify button, you go to the fit tab, and in the fit tab, the overall scale is 25.4. Well, what that does is it increases the dimension scale 25.4 times the size. We'll be using this again when we work on the floor plan. In that video, you're going to make the dimensions actually 48 times the size because they're bigger for a floor plan or anything that's bigger, honestly. So there's that. And then the text height is bigger because the drawing is bigger. We just use the text height of 4, but technically you could multiply the text height that you want to end up with by the scale factor, which in this case could be 25.4, and you should get basically the same height. Now, to place text, I think I may have went over this in a different video, but let's do it just in case. You can start multi-line text, click a point, and then stop and look at your command line here. I'm going to either type in H for height, or I'm going to click on the word height, and then it's going to ask me specify height. I'm going to type in 4 and enter, and then I'm going to pull my mouse over here because I'm still in the box and click so that I can put my cap locks on and start to type in my text. So that's one way. Once you've placed it, if you want to change your text height, you double click on it, highlight the text, and then this is kind of sensitive a little. You have to click on the number at the top left corner and change the height, and then enter. So I changed it to be a little bit smaller. So just wanted to give you a couple of choices here. And then again, here's the line type scale. So we use 6, but you know, whatever the number is, it looks good for your line types. The reason we have line type scale in this drawing is originally we were using right here as a center line. We created a layer called center line, and we used it for the center lines. And then we went through to the annotate tab and decided to bring in center marks. So here is a center mark right here, and there's the center line. It doesn't matter to me whether you use one method or the other. You can just use center lines, center marks if you'd like. Go to the annotate tab up at the top there, click on center mark, select your circle, and then you'll get your center mark. Making sure it's on the right layer, because this is not the right layer. But if you want to change something to the right layer, you just select it. You go over to the layer drop down, and you pick which layer you want it to go on. So maybe I'd like this to be on the dim text layer, because I didn't create center lines. Either way, most like that. And then once you place it, you could click inside this little blue grip and pull your mouse up and kind of extend the center line lines there. Okay, keep in mind that you're really paying attention to this layer called objects that is really bolder, right? We're making it 0.6 so that when you print, you can print it with a line weight that's bolder than the text and the dimensions around it. Okay, now the other thing too is if your text here tends to pop out like that and you want it to go inside, just use grips here. Select the dimension, click on the blue grip box there next to the text, and pull it over so that it's lined up here between them. Okay, the only other thing here, I think, let's just see if we actually used this radius here. Yeah, you see, that's what I wanted to check. Because this default in AutoCAD, it gives us kind of this extended little line that represents the circle. You end up with something like this. I'm okay. If you want to use that, that's fine. I think in this one, right, we use the multi-leader. Now, the thing about the multi-leader, and this is something to learn from this project, is that it has its own scale factor. So if you draw a multi-leader, which is right underneath here where we got linear, it's called leader right there. You click on that, then you click wherever you want the arrow to start, pull your mouse up and click, and now you're ready to put some text in there. Now if you were to do that before I changed the scale factor, it would be way too small. So let me show you how to do that. Underneath, in the Home tab, underneath the word annotation for that panel, we have all these different styles that we can change. And in fact, this one right here is the dimension style, us typing in D and enter. But the one underneath it right there is the multi-leader style. If you click on that, and now doesn't that look, it looks similar to the dimension style. You click on modify, and then here you go to the leader structure tab and change the scale of that multi-leader style to 25.4. If you don't change the scale of it, it would be really small. It'd be back at the 1:1 and not the 25.4 metric conversion of it. Okay, so that should, I think, help you to get going with it. If you decide to change your scale, it'll make it look better and like a leader, right, as opposed to this one, which it works either way, I guess. But really, to add text to your multi-leader, you can double click on the text. So let's say I want to add this 3x. I may have covered that in a different video. You can double click on it. You see that blinking cursor is right there to the left of it. You can type in 3 space x space, and now you have your text that's added to the dimension without exploding it. That's the main key. All right, if you have any more questions, please contact me. I am changing up the assignments a little and hoping that you're picking up a lot of valuable information within those assignments. There may be here and there spot like this where I'll need to come in and give you a little bit more information to finish the drawing, and please don't hesitate to contact me. That was my dog dropping his bone in the background. Yeah? Okay. Have a good weekend. Take care. Keep in touch.